Yo guys, I've got a spark which I'm going to use to ignite the fire for a brand new episode of the Skylanders carryon Locke here on the channel. Now, as per the norm for the carryon Locke, whenever we usher in the debut of a new game, so in this case that's going to be Swap Force, we need to determine what our brand new representatives of each element is going to be. So naturally that's going to be determined by random to find out who our new representatives moving forward for each of the 8 elements are. So without further ado, let's generate who our magic representative is going to be at random, utilising, as per the norm, the wheel of names. And so I'm really hoping for someone with multiple lives, someone like Spyro is ideal, because this way, if he's defeated, we revert to the original, and we need the extra life, particularly for magic element, because based on Giants there's no magic elemental representatives left. So this way, at least now magic stands more of a chance of actually being carried over to the next game, because only having one life of the entirety of magic element would make it so much more tougher to get these characters all the way through until the end of Swap Force. But now having Spyro, that's made things a little bit easier on me. But without further ado, we do have a different order in which we're generating these representatives for each element, which means that we're moving on to Tech next, and their representative is gonna be none other than Wind Up. Yes, I was so worried for a moment that it was going to stop at Sprocket, but we had just enough momentum to push us forward to Wind Up instead, who is the far superior representative of the Tech element compared to Sprocket. So already we have a character who can immediately jump up to their Swap Force representative, that being Spyro, who's instantly jumped up to Mega Ram Spyro, his blue-based version of the character. And from there, if he's defeated, he reverts to his original. Wind Up is obviously a blue-based character from the start. He's a brand new core introduced in Swap Force, a really overpowered core now. So yes, we're off to a good start in terms of the variety and the actual characters themselves, whom are being chosen here. We have a Spyro's Adventure Starter Pack representative at long last, and then for the Earth element, we're going to have yet another character who got a repose in Swap Force, Terrafin. So yet another character with multiple lives to go around, and if he survives Swap Force and can be carried over into Trap Team, he has some really great characters to fall back upon if he gets defeated along the way. But we've got to get him to that point first within the carryon Locke. But naturally that brings us on to our next element, which is going to be the Undead element. We really want Rollerball here because she's not only overpowered in Swap Force, but she's also really useful moving forward in the other games if she gets carried over to that point. Oh, Chop Chop! Chop Chop is a really decent substitute here. Yet again, another Swap Force repose. It appears as though the random main picker loves the Swap Force reposes. Chop Chop is excellent. We get to instantly jump up to his Twin Blade Chop Chop version, a bit like what we're doing with Spyro and Terrafin. So already we have 3 Series 3s and a core from Swap Force to boot. And it wouldn't be Swap Force without the Swappers. Water, we've randomly generated Washbuckle, which is awesome. Yet another starter pack character, but this time from the actual game we're playing, Skylanders Swap Force. So that's awesome for the water representatives here. We have Zap and the Light Core Whamshell as well, because we've got to remember that all of the Skylanders who survive from Giants carrying over into this one get upgraded to their Swap Force iteration. So in case of Whamshell, he gets to move up to his Light Core version. And Jetvac, once again, is a great representative for the air element, because not only can we instantly jump up to his Swap Force representative, his Series 2, but moving forward he's going to have greater iterations of himself to be upgraded to should he make it to later games. So obviously in Trap Team he has the Series 3, and then in Superchargers he has a Supercharger form. Man, this is the greatest randomized cast thus far. Obviously the random name wheel feels bad for what it left me with during the Giants era, but we are going to get one extra Giant added to the cast, and it's one of the better ones, Hothead. That means that for fire we have Igknight, Hot Dog, and Hothead as our representatives moving forward. But I could really be using with another Swap Force representative, or better yet, we could get Camo. But it's time to find out whom our last representative being added to the cast is going to be, and that's going to be our representative for the Life element, chosen at random, and that character is gonna be Zulu. I did ask for a Swap Force representative, so we get a Swap Force core, and yet another one of the better Swap Force cores at that. We were so close to getting Mumble Blast, and Mumble Blast would have been absolute perfection. He would have really rounded off this perfect cast we're adding. But I will take what I've been given. This is a fantastic cast. I'm really excited to get into Swap Force with these characters moving forward. So without further ado, let's boot up the game, and I will see you there So here we are with the Swap Force main starting screen. So without further ado, I'm going to press start on my newly decked out Xbox controller, which has little thumbtack thingamabobs here on the analog stick, so that then I can get a greater grip on them with my controller. In other words, I play better with these on, so let's hope that the lack of skill from Giants in particular areas doesn't correlate over to Swap Force here. I'm hoping for not the perfect run, because the perfect run of Skylanders Swap Force Nightmare Mode is a task easy said and done, but if we can get through it with, as per the norm, minimalistic deaths, that is the desired outcome, because Trap Teams, Superchargers and Imaginators, that is where this series is going to start getting tough. So far from the first two games, we ain't seen nothing yet. That is a regular occurrence on the other hand. But now that I've switched out the batteries on my Xbox controller, I'm hoping that the regular occurrence of the controller disconnected becomes a little more irregular throughout the series. Without further ado, let's press on that story mode right now, and we are actually going to be deleting this save file in order to select it as a nightmare profile, because we're sticking to our guns and going through all of these games on nightmare difficulty. Now, playing this on Xbox 360, the loading screens are a little bit longer than the PlayStation 4, the graphics aren't quite as great, but most of these things, so because I'm capturing with the Elgato and it's automatically going to 1080p 60 FPS per my software and Elgato capabilities, it basically means that the gameplay for you guys is going to look exactly the same, even if it doesn't look as good for me on my television. And as for the longer loading screens, we're going to be skipping most of those anyway. Obviously the loading screens are hidden by the cutscenes, but for cutscenes and loading screens, all of it in its entirety I'm going to cut out of the edit. So basically all what you guys are going to see is just the gameplay. The only reason why I didn't actually cut out the previous cutscene in the edit was because I was explaining stuff over the top of it. But cutscenes from this point forward, it doesn't matter how long the loading screens are being hidden by the cutscenes for, all of that is just going to be cut out of the video entirely. We're going to skip over all of that, and we're also going to skip over my rambling already and cut straight to the chase. The first element to appear in Swap Force is fire, so it feels only right to start with our brand new fire representative, Hothead. That way we anticipate the fire coming up, so that then I don't need to switch out a second time, because this episode is going to feature not only the first level of the game, but we're also going to be tackling Cascade Blade in this episode as well. And from there on forwards, we're going to be tackling most episodes with one level, because the levels in this game are a lot longer than the levels of that of Giants. However, there are going to be certain cases where we play two levels in one chapter, and that's going to be whenever we are introduced to a new biome of Skyland. So obviously this game is split into like jungle levels, ice levels and desert levels. The very first desert level is pretty short, and for the ice levels, Winterkeep and Boney Islands are the two longest ones, but we're still going to play them both in the same episode anyway to keep up with the pattern, and we're doing the same here. So the first two levels of the game are being played in the same episode, then Iron Jaw, Gulch and Motleyville are both going to be played in the same episode, and finally what of their names, Boney Islands and Winterkeep are also going to be played in the same episode. Outside of that, we're going to be playing one level per episode, but the boss fights are going to be the same episode as the levels preceding them. So we're going to fight Mesmeralda in the same episode as we do fighting through the Frostfest Mountains. We're going to play through the Firefighter boss fight the same episode we beat Twisty Tunnels, and the same can be said for Rampant Ruins and Evil Gunshapes. Cassandra is going to be for the very last episode, because for the very last episode we're going to be doing Chaos's Fortress, Cassandra and Chaos as one grand finale, but that's going to come after we tackle the two adventure pack levels. I need this fella to die already. Okay, there we go, he got there eventually. Let's say Cassandra, Chaos and Chaos's Fortress, they're all going to be played in the final episode, which is going to come after the two adventure pack levels are played as their own separate episodes, and those are going to come after the Phantasmal Forest. It's going to be Phantasmal Forest, Tower of Time, Shipwreck Islands, all those three individual episodes before the final episode, which is going to be a long one because we are tackling the final three levels of the game, but length equals awesomeness, don't you know? In other words, bigger is better by default. That's just how it works. That was the entire marketing behind Skylanders Giants. Skylanders Giants is better because it's bigger. No other reason. And you don't need another reason, because truly, bigger being better speaks for itself. That's just how it works. I don't make up the rules, I just reinforce them. So say that's how the finale of the Swap Force portion of the carry-on lock is going to work. That's how it works. The finale is going to be bigger, longer, and therefore better. They have a lot of stuff to anticipate before we get to that point, though, including the adventure packs where we need to get Mega Ram's power-ups at that point, because the Cluck boss fight at the end of that level is magic, and if the original Spyro is going into it, he is going to die. So we need to keep Mega Ram and Spyro around so we have a better chance at that boss fight, because if we get Spyro through to Trap Team, well, Trap Team, I'm doing a very interesting thing when it comes to our upgrading system. So in Trap Team there are elite characters. Now these elite characters take up the same pose and gameplay as the original counterparts, except for the fact that they have 3 times the health and 3 times the damage output. So in other words, because the elites are basically the exact same as the original versions of the characters, the elite are going to replace the original characters in Trap Team. So Spyro here is a perfect example. If Mega Ram Spyro somehow makes it to Trap Team and doesn't die in Swap Force, or isn't defeated in battle, I should say, and we get Mega Ram Spyro carried all the way over to Trap Team, then we remain as Mega Ram Spyro, and then when he's defeated in battle, instead of reverting back to the original has now became his elite. So we revert back to the elite Spyro. But Trap Team doesn't only introduce elites, it also introduces minis, and since minis are the smaller baby versions of our classic characters, what we're going to do with them is that they become 1 level below the originals. So any character with a mini, if their original is defeated in battle, they revert to the mini afterwards. It's like it's yet another additional life. But to me it makes sense, because the minis are basically just a dumbed down version of the original character. So if we're going down a tier-like system and the original is 1 tier, then the minis are like 1 tier below that, so we get to revert to them soon, as the original has been defeated in combat there, mind you. So that goes for any one of the 16 characters who have mini counterparts. That goes for Spyro, Terrafin, even Bash himself. So Bash has triple lives at the moment. He has his Series 2, he has his original, and then he has Bop afterwards. That is so long as the original isn't defeated in this game. But so long as we get the original past this game, then he will have that additional life via his mini Bop version. In other words, Bash is unkillable, because so far Earth and Air are our only elements without any casualties, and Air just get better and better, because now it's gone from having only 2 lives in Giants to 5. We have Jetpack in his Series 2 form in this game, so if that's defeated, then we only revert to the original. We have Light Core Warnator iteration, again, if that's defeated, we revert to the original. And Swarm is still kicking it, though if Hothead continues with this level of skill, I don't think he's going to make it very far through this series. But even then, that's no big a deal, because we have Igknight and Hot Dog to back him up, 2 of the most overpowered fire characters out there. But man, I've been looking forward to the Swap Force section. This is actually my first time playing Swap Force on my own Xbox 360. I have played this version of the game before, because one of my mates was an Xbox 360 console owner, and so naturally whenever we played Skylanders around his place, we'd play the 360 version. But this was the first time owning Skylanders Swap Force for my own Xbox 360, and due to that I actually had to play through a game prior to this. That's what the original save file was. It was me speeding through the game on easy difficulty so that I could unlock Nightmare Mode, and now that we're playing through Nightmare Mode, when we get to the end of the game I get 4 achievements. So the finale was going to be epic, not only for obviously making it through Swap Force and the carry-on lock, but also for unlocking achievements for my Xbox account on the way. We'll unlock the achievement for completing the game on hard difficulty, because I haven't done that yet on this save file. We'll unlock the achievement for beating it on Nightmare Mode as well, because if you can beat the game on Nightmare Mode, you can beat the game on hard difficulty, and hard difficulty is easier than Nightmare Mode. So the logic would dictate that if you can beat one, you should be able to beat the other. The same thing happens with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like if you beat 150cc first, it automatically fills in those stars for 50cc and 100cc, because naturally if you can triple star the hardest most difficulty, then it should stand to reason that you can do the same on the easy difficulties as well. and say this game's very different. You beat it on nightmare mode, then you get all of the achievements for hard mode alongside it. Anyway, as Earth pops up, we're going to play as Knockout Terrapin, our brand new representative of the Earth element, our brand new representative of the Earth element that is significantly lacking in upgrades and leveling. Hopefully, in the process, he shall not be defeated because, say, going through nightmare mode with no upgrades and no leveling is a death wish in and of itself. And the reason why Knockout Terrapin is as low as he is because during the Supercharged series he had to be reset per the rules and parameters of that series. But fortunately, given that this is level 1, we should be alright, and between episodes I can quite easily go back and get this guy's upgrades sorted out. And being at level 1, we aren't going to be at level 1 for much longer. First of all, let's not get hit by that. That would be a great plan on my behalf. Fantastic, awesome, awesomeness, great plan in the process. I can't put emphasis on the absolute untamed awesomeness of this plan where I don't die. It's probably the greatest plan of all time, actually. I would dare go as far as saying. Anyway, we're going to skip over the story scrolls as I always do. In fact, the only reason I collected that story scroll is because in this game it introduced us to gathering experience whenever we collect a story scroll, extra incentive to collect the story scrolls, and that is going to edge us ever so closer to that level up which we desperately need because we've got to increase this guy's maximum health. We've also got to garner some treasure for him in order to afford his upgrades, so that, my friends, is where the treasure chest comes in. A very conveniently placed treasure chest, that one, and we've already collected 2 of the 3 of them. Now, Hothead, as you saw earlier, didn't have a particularly high treasure count, but he was maxed out in his level count, so I'm going to assume that he's maxed out in his upgrades as well. One can only hope, but you'd assume that if I've gone out my way to level him up, then he'll also have all of his upgrades. The only reason why he wouldn't is if that is not my original Hothead, or if I reset Hothead along the way. I do lose track of what Skylanders I have and haven't reset, hence why I go into these locks unprepared at times. Like, for example, Terrapin here being significantly under-upgraded and under-leveled. I really need to learn to prepare for my locks much better. Hey! We made a checkpoint already. So let's kill some things. Everyone knows that the checkpoint is the dawn of the bloodlust. That's how it works. Checkpoints, they're just a trigger for me. What can I say? They awaken something in my brain that just makes me have a need to kill everything in sight. That's what checkpoints do to me. Checkpoints are a bad influence. So let's kill some chompies, level up along the way. Don't mind if we do. Boom, boom. Shake the room. How are you not dead yet? That's rude. Die already. It's still not dead. It's not listening to me again. Just care about what I want. There you go. That's more like it. Luckily, Earth doesn't last for much longer. We can move on to water soon enough, and as per the usual rules of the lock, whenever an element pops up, I must switch out to a Skylander corresponding to an element. Cannot switch out to an element if the area changes once more. Going to be collecting all of the treasure we can along the way too, which is why I'm pushing those blocks into place. Is going to set up for a treasure along the way. Bingo! There's a couple of pieces of treasure, but this was actually what I was referring to. Flinsmiths and stuff. These extra objectives in Swap Force make the levels feel a little bit more full because it's an extra thing to look out for. And then they also give you treasure as an incentive, much like how story scrolls you are incentivized to grab them because of the extra experience. Well, these collectibles you are incentivized to collect them by the extra treasure that they provide. And on nightmare mode, that's even better because in nightmare mode we get increased experience and increased treasure. Okay, I'll have to pardon that cut right there. Oh boy, I need to commit murder against these fools right now. It would be a lot easier if, you know, rather than them waiting for them to die. Like, come on guys, we all know what's happening. We know how this ends. We know that you don't survive this. So why don't you just make the whole process a lot more quicker rather than me killing you? How about you kill yourselves, you know? How about you go unalive yourselves? That's a good plan. I like that plan. This whole episode is just full to the brim with great plans. Like the plan where, you know, obviously I tackle shorter levels in this game by giving you a double bill for those episodes where those levels are featured, so that then, you know, we can get through this game a little bit more quickly, because if this is going to be a weekly series, then we don't want to spend 3 months on Swap Force. You know, we want to get through it ASAP so that then we can move along to Trap Team, which I am eagerly anticipating because I can't wait to see what sort of slaughterhouse Trap Team sets itself up to be. And I'm also looking forward to this first episode because this first episode should be the first episode of the carryon Locke for a while where we haven't had any defeats. Obviously in Giants we didn't have any defeats in the episode where we tackled both Empire of Ice and Pirate Seas. That was very refreshing. But every episode before that and after that, there were defeats along the way, so I'm looking forward to that finally coming to a close. But now water is more powerful here, so we're going to switch out, not for Washbuckler, but instead for our newly upgraded version of Whamshell, because even though Whamshell was first introduced in Giants, obviously with his Series 1 original iteration, unfortunately he wasn't highly utilised in that series because Whamshell is either he's not very good in Giants or I'm just not very good at playing as him in Giants. Either way, we didn't play as him for any of the water sections past Chapter 6 because I did not trust him to survive, and we really wanted him to survive because that's what led to this moment. If Whamshell was defeated in Giants, which he would have been if I placed him on the portal at any point past level 6, then all of this you see on screen right now, this would not be possible. We would have lost all of this potential for his character had he been defeated early on in the series. Much like how when we lost Ghost Roaster early in Spice Adventure, and now we've lost Voodoo as well, so we can't upgrade to his elite version in Superchargers. But losing Wrecking Ball, on the other hand, not so big a loss. The only problem with losing Wrecking Ball was that it led to Voodoo being defeated in the Magic section, which very easily could have been a section I played through as Wrecking Ball instead. Wrecking Ball either could have survived using his ranged attacks, or he would have died there, and Voodoo would have been able to survive the encounter. So either way, if we got a better Skylander randomizer, then Voodoo will still be around because we won't have to resort to him, refer to him for the Magic sections of the game. And then that would lead to even more Magic characters still being around at this point. You know, in other words, if random name picker was generous enough to give us Double Trouble instead, I guarantee Double Trouble would not have been defeated so easily. In fact, I guarantee that there would have been no Magic casualties in the Skylanders Giants portion of this series if Series 2 Double Trouble was chosen instead, because Series 2 Double Trouble is that much of a unit. He is so incredibly busted, and so far he is the only character from Spice Adventure of Magic Element yet to have been chosen by a random name picker. It seems as though for Magic and Undead, random name picker is incapable of choosing anyone outside of Spice Adventure. Mark my words, and Trap Team we're going to get Double Trouble and Hex for those elements. Which Hex wouldn't be so bad because Hex would at least have her mini to fall upon when her Series 1, her original, is inevitably defeated. And trust me, we're going to need all these lives because we basically need cannon fodder for the vehicle sections and superchargers. Okay then everyone, I've taken the liberty of skipping ahead to the very next chapter, completely cutting out everything from Woodborough as well as the cutscenes themselves. That's going to make it easier in the edit so that I don't have to like keep cutting around anything and everything. Anyway, speaking of cutting, I need to cut away from playing as Whamshell already and switch out for his light called compadre Warnado. It would appear as though the random name picker loves working in patterns because every single one of the characters who could have possibly upgraded to a light core version in this game, well, they did. Warnado, Whamshell, and Flashwing were the only 3 characters capable of upgrading to a light core, moving from Giants into Swap Force, and those were the 3 characters that were chosen by the random name picker specifically for that purpose, I suppose. And now it's gone on ahead and picked a bunch of characters as well who can take advantage of the new upgrading system I'm going to be incorporating into Trap Team. So obviously the elites becoming the new original version of the characters. That is something that Spyro, Terrafin and Chop Chop can all take advantage of. And then Terrafin and Spyro are perfect examples of this because after their elites, their original forms have been defeated in battle, they get to refer to their final life, their miniature versions with Spry and Terabyte alike. So yeah, Terrafin and Spyro are definitely in the most beneficial position moving forward. That is so long as they make it past this game, which is a task easier said than done. I've proven time and time again my lack of skill at the video game. That is unless I'm playing as Zap. For some reason, Zap just nullifies my gameplay curse. He just plays in the portal and everything instantly dies. He's that good, mind you. He is so good that he transcends my usual gameplay skill, and he creates his own skill. And here we are with 4 enemy cutscenes. But hey, whilst the loading screens in this game might be long, it doesn't matter to you guys because I skip over all of that anyway. But the loading screens might be longer than a PlayStation 4, but at the very least, unlike the Wii version, we don't have to worry about loading screens midway through the level. Like, yes, the loading screens are longer, but at least it does load the entire level all at once. That is rather welcome indeed. Let's take out some tools, shall we? Yeah, baby! Ow, stop hitting me, that's rude. So rude, old chap. Yeah, unfortunately, as you can tell here, Ramshell isn't quite, well, Warnado, I should say. Warnado is not quite as good in this game as he has been in prior games. But at least now with his Lightcore version, we can go to the superior path for Warnado, or at least what I conceive of as the superior path there, mind you. Let's destroy that for looking to be funny, no other reason. I don't really need another reason, let's be perfectly honest here, so let's push these into place. And Warnado is a very sharp juxtaposition to the previous characters we've been playing because he is completely maxed out in every conceivable category. I suppose that's what happens when you have owned this character for as long as you have. In fact, this is my Locke Warnado I got for Christmas in 2013. Meaning this specific toy in the Portal is over a decade old.
Thank goodness you're here, Skylander.
It's just mad to think that this character is over a decade old, and I apologise for coughing right now. I do have a little bit of a cold brewing, but we're going to power through it anyway. I'm going to let that stop me from playing Skylanders Sword Force right now. And life is powerful here, so it's time for yet another one of our newly introduced characters to the series. Zulu, our first blue base origin character, being placed on the portal right here. And he is at level 11. Hopefully he possesses more upgrades than that. He's not fully upgraded yet, which is unfortunate because when this character is fully upgraded, he is incredibly busted. But luckily for us, he's busted regardless on having full upgrades or not, so we should be fine here, given how early into the game's progress we are, so to say. And already we have our Elementalist achievement, which is fantastic. Plus we have Gobble Pods to help us out. If Zulu wasn't already busted enough as it is, he has the Gobble Pods to add an extra layer to his overall overpowerness. And another thing we can do here is collect plenty of treasure that we can utilise for Zulu's upgrading system there, mind you. So let's grab every bit of that gold right there, don't mind if we do. And there's even a treasure chest lying in wait for us, so that we won't mind if we do neither. But just like Terrapin, I'm going to go ahead and fully upgrade and level them up off camera there, mind you, because doing it on Trap Team off camera would be a lot more easier than trying to go through and do it in this game as part of this playthrough. It would mean that he'd be a lot less prone to death. At the moment it's calling his name given the lack of upgrades and treasure he possesses. Well, treasure for his upgrades, I should say, for lack of his level cap right now, because he's at level 11, which is far from his level cap at level 20. So far, in fact, that we're 8.5 levels below, which is just a true travesty, to say the least. I could say more, I'm just not, which is what at least is being said all the same. Not the ironclad, anything but the ironclad. Anyway, our wolf is going to keep attacking him, just keep him in a spree of him, like, attempting to attack us, then being interrupted and continuing to be invincible from it. But, you know, we could keep that guy in his cycle, or we could alternatively just skip combat entirely, which is exactly what we did. You know, we're taking very low risk, and by very low risk I mean no risk whatsoever. We're being highly rewarded for it. The game has even given us a treasure chest for keeping away from combat. And that's what Locks are all about. They're about taking low risks and being high rewarded for it. So wherever we can skip combat, we will skip combat. An important thing to take notice of that is wherever you can skip combat, so that then you can avoid taking damage altogether. Make things a little easier on yourself. Let's pop all the way over here. Yeah, we're going to get through these puzzles as fast as possible because I can't be asked to collect the sparks, even though Zulu here could be doing with his treasure. But despite all of that, we don't bother with any of it. Plus, this gives us treasure anyway. We get one singular like lightning bolt there, which on nightmare mode, given how much extra treasure you gain, it means that we get ourselves a lot of treasure. Now there is a speed zone up there, but we don't have any Skylanders that have been randomly chosen out by the random name picker to take advantage of it. We only have one swapper that was chosen by the random name picker. That being one swapper of all things, it is quite disappointing that we only have one swapper and a rather anticlimactic one at that, because yes, one swapper is good, he's not exactly the most exciting character out there. One is better than none though, and there's always chances of more swappers appearing later in the series via random name picker, even though the chances of the swappers appearing later on in the series only become more and more slim as later games arise, because obviously we're only picking one brand new representative per element every single time a new game is ushered in. So naturally that means that for Trap Team, for example, we have 4 new characters being added to the random name picker and only one name being selected. Superchargers, we are only getting one name per element added to the random name picker, so at least then, like, the odds for our characters remain practically the same as they did before, because one's being picked and only one's being added. But then imagine it as we go back up to the case where characters more are being added per element than what are being chosen out. Magic is stronger here, so let's try for Spyro. I think it is about time that random name picker chose Spyro. I mean, at the end of the day, he is the flagship character of the franchise for the first few games there. Mind you, obviously, the franchise kind of developed more of his own identity for later games moving forward, including this one, where Spyro is just yet another repos character. His significance has been lost on this title, but still it is great to see him given his significance in gaming history and his significance on this franchise in of itself. That fella seems a little out of our reach back there, so we're just going to continue on. We're going to continue on. But yeah, what's great about Spyro is obviously his elite form and his minis to come in the latter game, so I really hope that he survives this, despite the fact that Magic has some pretty tough sections in this game. Don't worry though, they make up for it by making Magic one of the easier elements to survive with in later games. In fact, based on the fact that Superchargers we're going to be getting random elements for each area, means that there's no way of predicting who it is we're going to play as in any given moment. And then in Trap Team and Imaginators, the Magic element either very rarely appears or it appears in some of the easier most sections of the game. So after this, luckily for us, Magic will be one of the easier elements to get by with. Boom, get them out of here. But this game really had an agenda against the Magic element apparently, because we have to defeat the Viper using a Magic Skylander, and we have to defeat Cluck using a Magic Skylander. Then, let's see here, after that, Gumshanks, you go against them with an Undead Skylander, because the section preceding it is of the Undead element. Then the same goes for Mesmeralda. Then for Chaosandra it's Tech, and for Chaos it's Tech as well, unless Tech is defeated by Chaosandra, and I can choose whichever Skylander I like, because there is no element of the area physically for Chaosandra's boss fight, but we remain as a Skylander that started on the portal going into the fight, and that would be a Tech Skylander given the Tech section beforehand. And all of our Tech Skylanders here only have one life to call their own. Drill Sergeant, Bouncer, and Wind Up all have one life for this game, so any of them being defeated, they would instantly be taken away from our cast. Class is dead and never to be used again throughout the remainder of the series. So we've gone from Air having a lot less lives overall compared to Tech, to Air now having a lot more. Same can be said for Earth. Earth now has 6 lives, the most possible lives available for any elements. Okay, cool, those guys are out of here, and we're absolutely going to grab that treasure, don't mind if we do. I love the fact that they pay for their food. You know, a bit like how we do in real life, food doesn't come free, and those gobble pods, they appreciate it. Though they did barf up the treasure, so I'm not sure how sanitary it is, but you know what? Treasure is treasure, we will take it all the same. And what I'm going to do here is that because I'm skipping out stuff like cutscenes and for Hub World altogether, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to conclude this episode at the screen right here. So without further ado, let's roll that outro. I cannot, in good conscience, end off this video without first thanking all of my incredible channel members whose continued support help make these videos possible. Without them, these videos would be near impossible to make, so from the bottom of my heart, I truly appreciate every last one of them. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, there are plenty of options on screen now to explore, and please consider subscribing to keep up to date with all my content. On that note, this video is coming to an end, so thank you so much as always for watching. Until the next video arises, peace!